Alright guys, what's going on all you foxbody fanatics? Well, we're back again, and what we're doing today is, what did you think we're doing? We're degreasing, paint stripping, rust removing, priming, and painting. So, let's get to it. So we'll start with something small. This is the cover that goes on the bell housing to cover where the clutch cable mounts to the clutch fork. So as you can see, this thing is just caked in grease, and there's rust. You can tell it's even been painted over rust. So, well, we're going to do what we do best, and we're going to take some junk and we're going to make it nice. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to have to degrease this thing. So this is pretty straightforward. Don't even know why I'm showing you, but might as well. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your greasy, nasty part, and you're going to put it in a crappy tub. I use this when I do my oil changes. And then you're going to use whatever cheap degreaser does the trick for you. We're going to use this stuff here.
Shut up! Shut up! I was worried that I didn't. Shut up! How you doing?
And we're going to let it soak a little bit, and we're going to get to brushing. Let it soak, let it do its thing. You can see it working. Just sitting, you can see it working. This stuff's pretty strong. Added a little water to stretch out what I had left. And I'm just going to let this soak overnight. And then tomorrow, I'm sure whatever's on it will scrub off fairly easily. Alright, all you foxbody fanatics, let's show you what we're up to again. So this is the clutch fork cover. You couldn't tell while it was all greasy, but it's quite rusty. So anyway, we've got it all degreased, ready for the next step. We got our transmission cross member degreased. This was a lot of fun too. Got the stock bushings out, and yeah, they're the sleeve there, the tube is pretty bent, so we'll be buying new ones. But what we're gonna do this evening is these two parts here. We're gonna go back with the old circa 1850 paint stripper, and we're gonna get after it, and I'll give you some updates as we go. This is after about 5 minutes. Stuff is strong. So now we're going to let it set for 15, reapply, and then go rinse it off with the garden hose and see what we're left with. And if most of it's off, then we'll flip the parts around and do the other side.
It's a heavy smoker. 2-pack a day kind of smoker.
So this is what we got after the first pass of paint stripper. It probably would have came out nicer, but I did it at night. I rinsed it off in the evening, and I couldn't really see what I was doing, so like there's a lot of flakies that didn't come off that are going to come off today with the hose. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit it again and see what happens. What's up, Raja? Showing everyone off your winter coat? Hey, what you doing? So we have Sweetleaf outside. And I wonder what we're doing outside with this thing in the middle of fall. Started removing all the rust proofing, as you can see, but if you were going too hard, what would happen is you end up taking off the damn paint. So you can't use any brushes. I guess this factory finish here has no clear coat, nothing to protect it. So it's like the degreaser just lifts off the paint. But I mean, I gotta clean this thing. Just touching it, get completely coated in grease. So what I want to do is I want to give it a preliminary clean before we pull the 2.3, and then once the engine, transmission, wiring harness, brake booster, all that garbage is out, then I'll give it a final clean. So just waiting for Sammy to show up with the pressure washer, and I'm going to get on this. You astute viewers will notice something's out of place. Well, we're taking advantage of having a pressure washer here for the day, and we're taking advantage of possibly the last day I can have my hose spigot on before it starts freezing at night and I have to shut down all outdoor water for the year. So let's see what we're talking about. This winter, one of our big projects is to rebuild and beef up the T5. Thank you, Hanlon Motorsports, for being there for all my T5 needs. So basically taped up anywhere water can get in, and the boot was ripped, so I had to tape the shifter, even though that's not the shifter we'll be using. We'll be using a Steeda Triax when we find a deal on one, of course. And as you can see, by the time of year, Halloween decorations are out. Petunias are starting to die. So yeah, I'm gonna hit this with some engine degreaser, some engine clean, and then Sammy's pressure washer, and then at least I'll save myself a lot of time scrubbing and wire wheeling just by getting all this off today. I mean, as you can see, it needed it. This T5 shifts great. There's a little bit of slop in the input shaft, but very minimal. Like, that would even be totally acceptable, to be honest. But I'm going to put a one-piece steel bearing retainer, and I'm pulling it apart so that I can do the cluster support, and I'm going to do the billet shift keys, and I want to inspect the forks and the gears and make sure everything's good. And then, you know, we're going to soak the casing, and we're going to soak the tail shaft and do what we normally do. I have a brand new polyurethane transmission mount in the garage, and I'm working on the transmission crossmember as we speak. So the T5 stuff is really coming together, you know. So we'll get to it. So the engine degreaser everywhere has been soaking for 15 minutes, and now we're going to hit it with a pressure washer. See how much of the grease we can get off. See, look at that shock tower, it's still caked. Degreasage in full effect. Now it's pressure washy time. Stuff works good. Look at that T5. Now it's clean. That seal's not very old. Yeah, that degreaser worked pretty darn good, but the biggest change is right over here. Look at this. I've never seen shock towers. I've never seen the aprons. I've never seen the frame rails. Look at the rad support. I knew this car was clean, but now it's clean enough that we can pull the 2.3 and the automatic, get the wiring harness out, get the booster out, and then we'll come back through once everything's empty in here and clean all the spots we might have missed. But everything just looks beautiful on this car, so this is definitely a good candidate. I mean, still got all the tags everywhere. When do you still see the cover on the alternator, or the coil for that matter? And now we're going to take it all apart. So because of the weather factor pushing the concrete work to priority, had to put the transmission crossmember restoration to the side for now. But went ahead and finished. Got all the paint off of this, wire wheeled all the scale, and now we're going to hit it with a few coats of rust converter, and then we'll let that dry. and it'll be ready to prime. You know, it'll always be pitted, but at least the rust reformer, in theory, should stop it from getting worse, and it's a solid factory Ford part that no one will ever see, so if we can just stop the rust, that'll be good enough for me, make it look decent. So we're going to get onto that right now. So this is after paint stripping and wire wheeling all the loose scale off. Now we're going to hit it with the rust check rust converter. So it says to apply it generously and for heavily rusted applications to repeat the process. So that's what we've done on everything that's been rusty on this thing so far. So, you know, if it doesn't kill it, hopefully it'll at least slow it down. That's after the first coat, and you can see it's really heavy. It's really thick on there, but it's not like spray paint where you're gonna get runs and whatnot. Like this stuff, you really want to soak the rusted areas, and you can already see it working. It's supposed to turn black. That's what it did on every other part I used, and you can see it's already getting darker. So we'll let this dry, and we'll do one, probably two more coats of this stuff. So this is after the second coat of the rust treatment. So this ought to do it. So once this is dry, it'll be ready for some primer. Today we're going to use my favorite primer for parts like this, the Rust-Oleum engine primer. It's a little overpriced in my opinion, at least in my area it is. Everything comes at a premium up north. But it really works good, and it lays down beautiful, and that's what we're going for here. So we'll hit it with this, and then we'll be able to paint it with whatever color we decide, and then clear coat it. So like I said, you still see the pitting, but it's all solid one color now. It's probably ridiculous to put clear coat on it, but I think that's what I'm gonna do right now. So let's get to it. Duplicolor engine clear. Shake it. I think Duplicolor should be paying me at this point. I mean, we aren't sponsored. Well, there you go. 3 coats of clear. Hard to believe it's the same part. You'll never see it, but I'll know. So the bell housing just needs to be polished now. It's all clean and free of paint and coating and corrosion. And we've got the clutch fork dust cover rust reformed, primed, painted, and clear coated. So that's pretty much how it's gonna look. It's as close as I could come to matching aluminum with spray paint, but still pretty happy with it. Well, there you have it, guys. Stuff is really coming together. Now we got the boxes down. What I'm doing right now today is I'm actually getting snow tires ready. We got our first snowfall last night. In real time, this is the day before Halloween, so I guess it is time to put those snow tires on. So I'm going to get back to that, and then we're going to finish prepping the garage to bring the car in and seal everything up for winter and start the swap. Catch you all in the next one. Peace.